Today I'm going to show you mass bowlers, mass throwers, and also some nice approaches in the upcoming video. So let's dive in and see what's going on in the Creative Master series. Hey there guys, what is going on now? I'm here with you on the Creative Master series against these insane team, which was Kingsman and Tryhard. I was playing with my friend Amin, so obviously we had our chance to go against these beasts, and obviously we fall short on the stars, but we did get the same percent. Now I wanted to show you our attacks and our approaches in the Creative Master series and how fun it really was, okay? Because I saw a lot of streams and stuff, and a lot of people have never seen the approach that I did on a base that I've done it on. So let's dive in and see these attacks. So first I'm gonna show you I think, yes, this was Amin's attacks on Imran, and obviously Imran and I believe Nachoa was defending for Tryhard and Kingsman, but Tryhard and Kingsman have 2 attacks each, so we all have 4 attacks in general. So this is the thrower recall that Amin had planned. Now I'm gonna tell you everything about what was going on through Amin's mind, and also my attacks as well. So first, he wanted to go with the throwers on the top side to clear these 3 defenses and this storage basically to get the better funnel. Now what is going to happen is that of course there is certain Teslas that is going to mess up the pathing, but in general the main idea was to get the top side and then recall those exact same throwers and drop them with the main army to go deep, and of course drop the queen here with that just Frosty and everything else to clear these stuff, so everything goes into this base and crush it out from the existence. Now that was the main idea, so kind of funneling their own army, you don't use your own army to funnel your own army. This was the creative part of this attack. So what ended up happening was that his queen on the outside actually died way quicker than he expected, because usually the queen doesn't get targeted if you drop it in front of Expo, and the Frosty gets, but he just messed up on that invisibility and he was late to react. I would have sent the RC right here to clear what the queen couldn't, so the king wouldn't walk away, and that was the biggest thing and the biggest impact in this I would say approach. Now if the king went in, it's a whole different story, and obviously the flame flinger on the top side is really cool as well. So the throwers basically made a funnel for their own, and also they cleared the expo that was ready for that flame flinger. This plan in general was really cool to see, and obviously I wish it would have worked really nicely, but it just didn't. And obviously you can see the king dying on the outside quite later on. It's gonna affect this a lot, but even after all those mistakes, well, he got a very high percent. I'm not even gonna lie, quite high percent in hard mode with this army that nothing went to plan. Obviously not nothing, but some things. So he does have some cleanup with the Valkyries, and obviously his clan castle to still come out, and you can see he's on 77%. So it was a really good plan if the king could have gone inside the base. This was our first approach, and obviously our next ones was a bit crazy. I'm not even gonna lie, but obviously one thing we wanted to make sure was to get CarbonFin's attention and also try our best to get the creative vote, because firstly Kingsman done his attacks on our base and he actually did get a 3-star, so it was tough to come back from that, and our 2 first plans was to get triples back to back, so we put pressure, and also we are against good teams, so we thought we need stars firstly, and then later we can kind of have the most random approaches that can really be crazy creative, and some things that some players have never seen and aren't in the meta. So let's go to our second attack. So I'm here on my second attack, and actually our second attack, my first attack, and I've done bowlers because I know CarbonFin loves those bowlers and I really wanted to bring it and showcase it, but obviously certain things didn't go to plan. So my plan originally was for the RC to get the town hall and go ahead maybe with some extra spares take the archer tower, but I wasn't really planning for it, and then I had planned with double invisibility and that kind of I would say the drill to go dive into the multi Inferno. And if you notice, we have everything on this side quite close for the throwers. Yes, I cloned throwers on my battle drill with a rage and invisibility, so we can get this entire area. I knew some things I may not get if the throwers lock onto either the rage tower or the minion prince, which they did end up locking onto both. So obviously you can see the plan, and there is unfortunate things about the Creative Master series obviously, and that is if you even have the most perfect plan, in the war itself you may be a bit nervous or certain things could not go to your plan. So for the rest of the attack, this is where I wanted the minion prince to clear this stuff, but I accidentally popped the minion prince ability really early, and that was one of my mistakes on this attack. Here is where I popped the minion prince on the expert, which I absolutely didn't need to. Like, this is the most useless ability ever. So when I did that, I was like, oh my god, I need to start the attack to at least use this frost inside my attack and use it at its best. So going with the king and bowlers, here is where when I thought I'm doing some mistakes, I forgot my wall breakers, so I dropped them really late, and that made the bowlers to go and walk away from my main path. So just like Amin, my attack also, nothing went to the core of the base, things just walked away, and it was really unfortunate because I was really planning for this for a long time, and I really wanted the best value from my throwers as well. So you can see once certain things don't go to plan, you're like, oh my god, it's just gonna be awful now, you know, I don't know what is gonna happen, can I save it, can I get a higher percent? And obviously my attack didn't make it to that higher percent because it was for 3-star, and I didn't take too much cleanup because obviously the plan was to crush this core and come back from the other side, and it was a decent plan, but obviously it didn't make it to a higher percentage, and it's unfortunate. And yeah, we got that archer on the top side, which we're just gonna skip and go to Amin's second attack. So here we are, and Amin is using the throwers again, but this time it's gonna be different. It won't be just like the first one, whereas they went in the core. This attack is so much fun that I'm like kind of shocked. Okay, so the plan was to get the RC, this area done, and then the flame flinger to go for that entire rage tower area, and then on the other side he wanted to go with some lightnings here and the queen giant arrow to take those two of the spitters out the way, and the top side of this base is all reachable with the throwers. So he wanted the entire top side with the throwers walk. So a thrower charge is different than you just go into the base. This is a thrower walk, so on the top side he would do that. Now then you can see the Valkyrie, obviously he knows the skeletons on that. Now this is where his queen giant arrow is going to turn into a queen charge, whereas he's going to go inside this attack and go inside this base. You can see the top being cleared by the throwers, the lower side being cleared by the queen, the right side being cleared by the flame flinger. This would make an perfect kind of, I would say, approach to this base and the way it's set up. But unfortunately certain things didn't go exactly to plan. Well, first thing was the warden being targeted really early on and his health going really like low, but he's still managing to go ahead with keeping the warden ability, but the throwers aren't getting healed up even though they're the same range as the warden. Queen, this is where his wallbreaker didn't really work out perfectly. You can see he wanted to connect but it didn't work out. Minion prince to freeze those in front of the town hall defenses. Flame flinger still doing amazing, and this Tesla was annoying indeed, but you can see how he pops the warden ability to clear those kind of defenses in front of the town hall, and that's when this is the wallbreaker he was looking for from the previous one. But unfortunately the previous one didn't open anything, and this one didn't open the queen either. So he wanted to open these walls so the queen have access to this compartment, and then the next wall breaker would have been for these walls. But unfortunately, as you know, the damage is a lot in hard mode, so his throwers died out on the top, which I personally don't know how, because obviously the throwers and the warden stay at the same range. So if your healers healing the warden, the throwers should get healed up as well. So yeah, that just didn't happen, and obviously this attack comes really close, and this was the attack of the final basically attack, whereas if he tripled we would have won the war because we would get a star and of course an extra percentage, so we would win by star and percentage against Kingsman and Tryhard, two of the best players in the current meta. And yeah, obviously very high percent from Amin, and some of you was watching, I think, this war in the live. If you weren't, well, Kingsman and Tryhard did come up with some nice plans as well, but 3, I believe, or 2 of their attacks was to basically just save the town hall. So their approaches wasn't even being made fully, the entire plan. So Kingsman's first attack was a fireball into, like, I would say, what was it, the minion prince? No, the mini warden, the apprentice warden charge. So he just went around the base, and that was their triple, and the rest was just certain approaches that they had to save the attack. But let's move on to my attack and the final attack of the war. So here we are, and yes, we're going in with the Inferno Dragon. But what's the most important thing, and what was the most fun thing about this approach, and by the way, I'm going to tell you everything about what was going through my head and what was the main plan, because I know a lot of people thought like this was a full-on spam and just the entrance was something very fun. Well, that is wrong, because obviously certain things didn't go to plan, so I kind of had to go ahead and save the attack and not risk certain things. Now, once I dropped the king, this is the fun part, right? This is where every streamer thought I'm doing a fireball. Everyone, like, this was crazy, and the mistake I made was not making this invisible. Like, I was keeping going with my planning, but when I was in the attack, I forgot that that building should have been invisible for my king to count the spiky ball. So this would be the first 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buildings into the last multi-inferno. But because this building is staying up, my spiky ball at the end didn't reach the multi. That meant the builder went for the scatter shot. So this also meant a very bad deal, okay, and you're gonna see how. Let's play this, and I'm going to pop the king spiky ball so the other side come up, and this is the shock that I had. I thought, hold on, why the other Inferno didn't get anything? But I don't have time to be shocked, so I went still with the queen giant arrow from the other side to damage this building, and now every single one of these buildings can go down to 1 earthquake. That was the counter. So what happened to this multi and scatter was that because the multi didn't get targeted by the spiky ball, the builder went to the scatter, so now the scatter does not go down with 1 shot. If these 2 builder went for the multi, even if they build it up, he still go down with 1 earthquake. That was the bad thing. Like, look at this multi getting healed up. That was the thing. Like, this is why the scatter shot stayed up, just because this elixir collector didn't go invisible. So now with my earthquake spell, I'm going to take down those 2 defenses, Clan Castle, and unfortunately these 2 defense that was in my plan didn't go down. This was the time whereas I was like, oh my god, no way, it's going bad. And my queen, as you saw from the beginning, we did 2 sneaky goblins on her, so I wanted the queen to go to the top with a golem to clear this top side, and then Inferno dragons from this side with a blimp for the town hall, with the minion prince on the lower side with skeleton trap and my free spells. That was the main plan. But because the queen went to the lower side, I was like, no way, what do I do now? Do I drop a golem? It's already too late. The expo is on the queen. Do I keep the queen alive? And I was like, okay, let me keep it alive. And look at the queen. It's going really bad. So now the queen is dead, and I was like, hold on. There's too much things on the top side, whereas if I go from the opposite side, if there is a tornado, and if there is a tornado with good traps, we could really one-star this, because I didn't have a backup RC. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna spam everything from the front of the town hall to try and get this like entire side of the base. And my mistake on the warden abilities was that I picked the raid gem, whereas it's completely useless with the Inferno dragons because they charge up. There is no point for the raid gem. I should have picked healing tome or, for example, the life gem, whereas you can see the dragons getting melted. So you can see a few mistakes being made sure this attack does not fully work, you know. And obviously it was a fun approach in my opinion, and a lot of people loved it. So I'm hoping to do it again with a better approach, with maybe different troops as well. But I love the Inferno dragons, and the fact that they're not in the meta, they do count as a creative attack, even though they're kind of spammy. But CarbonFin made sure he mentions it, that things that are not being used in the current meta can be used in the Creative Master series. There are certain approaches whereas people just doing warden charges around the base, and those are basically kind of counting as creative, whereas they do a fireball and just walk the hero. So I don't know what's the difference between those and a spam Inferno dragons. There is literally no difference, but it is what it is, and that is how this base is also going to stay up. Unfortunately, it's in hard mode, so obviously there is certain damage type where you cannot really see how much damage is on your heroes or troops, and they suddenly get melted. So that would be it for these attacks. And obviously, hopefully you guys enjoyed our approach, our plannings, and of course the things that was going through our mind. I'm not even doing this video on my own channel, I don't know why, but it's just a fun video I wanted to bring you for blueprints, and hopefully again you guys enjoyed it. Let us know down below what you think about it and what could have been maybe the difference in this war. And well, hopefully we'll see you soon in the future. Take care and peace.